right, the first section is ruler stuff. So you'll have that on your test. Imperial, metric, both of them. Okay, so this one is a, what kind of ruler? Metric or imperial? Metric. Yeah. Okay, so I think I asked you millimeters and centimeters. So this would be 1, 2, 3 small ticks, so 3 millimeters, which is how much of a centimeter? 0.3. 0.3 of a centimeter. Okay, the next is how many millimeters? So I'm at 10 here, 15, 16, 17 millimeters. And the other way to write it in centimeters would be 1.7. Okay, the next is right on the 4, so that is exactly 4 centimeters, which means how many small ticks is that? 40. And then this one is not quite the 6, so one less would be 59 millimeters or 5.9 centimeters. Okay, inches. So we need to understand that we have the little tiny ticks move in 16ths. Then we have the medium, which can move in 8ths. And then the larger ones move in quarters. So this one, so do you see if this is 1 inch? This would be what compared to a 1 inch? What fraction? Quarter. Quarter of an inch. The next one is 1. And then there's only one little tick. So how much does that go? One little tiny tick. 1/16. So this one is 2 full inches, and then we're at a medium tick. So how much is a medium tick in fractions? 8ths. So how many 8ths did you move? 1, 2, 3 8ths. Okay? This should also make sense to you. Right here is considered a half or 4/8. Does that also make sense? Why this is 3/8? Okay, the next one is 3 full inches, and if we are situated on a little tiny tick, what's on the bottom of our fraction? 16. How many 16ths do you go? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to count backwards instead of going all this way up. If this is 16, this is the 15, 14, 13. Okay? Do you notice how I'm not just counting small ticks, but I'm counting like this one as well, right? Because it moved a 16th, a 16th, a 16th. And the last one is 4 full inches, and it is on a medium tick mark. So what's on the bottom of my fraction? 8. So again, I'm going to count from the backwards. Yeah. So if this is the full deal, which is 8/8, this should be what? 7/8. Okay? Okay, converting, you'll have a formula sheet with all your stuff on it. So 5 yards equals how many inches? Okay, I believe there's nothing on your sheet that goes from yards to inches, right? Okay, so let's go 1 yard equals how many feet are in a yard? Do you remember that? How many feet? You got that one memorized? 3 feet are in a yard. And 3 feet would equal how many inches? When 1 foot is going to be 12 inches. 36. Okay, so therefore 1 yard equals 36 inches long. Can you also just visualize that with your arms, right? If you're thinking 1 yard, does that seem like 36 inches long? Right? Does it make sense visually? So 1 yard equals 36 inches. Okay. So then I know to times those numbers. So 180 inches is the answer. Okay, 2 miles to feet. Do you have something on your formula sheet that goes right from miles to feet? I'm guessing maybe not.
Yeah, that is.
There's something from miles straight to feet?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that is on me.
Okay, well then let's just use that. 1 mile, 5,280 feet. I was going to go to yards and then feet, but if we got that. And then do we times or do we divide? What are we doing? We're going to times. Okay, so now we're going to go meters to millimeters. Okay, I don't think I can do straight meters to millimeters, so should we go to centimeters? Is that okay with you? 1 meter is, do you have it memorized? How many centimeters are in that meter stick? 100. So this would be a times. So that's how many centimeters we're at. And then if I take that centimeters and go to millimeters, finding something from my sheet. Okay, you do not have to do all that. If you were a person who that was just like, I'm going to times by 100 and times by 10, just do that. If you were the person who knows, well, I got to times this by 1,000, I'm okay as long as you're showing me, you don't have to show me this whole cross multiply thing, but you would need to show me that I'm timesing by 110 or something like that. Okay, millimeters to centimeters. So 598 millimeters is how many centimeters? And the thing that I know 1 centimeter, so make sure I line it up there. 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So this one was opposite of the last few examples. Make sure you have them all stacked. So this means I'm going to be dividing on this one, right? See the difference? Alright, the next one is doing metric to imperial. So 60 centimeters is blank inches. All about finding a formula sheet conversion. So 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Actually, I didn't even look. That's just the one I use in real life. I think that's all we have. So found it from the formula sheet. I got them lined up. This is a times or a divide is what you're asking yourself. Is it going to be? Did you pick divide? So I would say use your real life skills. Estimate. Like, can you visualize 60 centimeters? Okay, well, a ruler is close to 30. Okay, these rulers are 30. 12 inches and 30 centimeters are not exactly, but they're close. So on those little rulers, so this 60 would be 2 of these, which would be pretty close to having 24 inches, right?
Can you go to the one up? Isn't that supposed to be 59?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I did 2 decimals instead of 1. Thank you. Did anybody else find that, or they just copied me? Because I'm testing you. Okay. Inches to millimeters, so 12 inches. I don't think I can go right to millimeters, right? So does it make sense? I'm going to go into centimeters right now. Okay? I don't think you have anything on your formula sheet that will help you. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So this is a times then from centimeters, you're going to look to go to millimeters. I'll be careful this time to try to only move my decimal 1 spot. Okay, so these complex conversions, I've kind of shown you 2 methods, and I'm going to let you pick which one you like. Okay, so 76 inches is how many feet when 1 foot equals 12 inch? Okay, so I'm going to be doing a divide by 12. Does that make sense on that crisscross? Okay, method 1. Six feet. I for sure have 6 feet, which is how many inches right now? So 6 times 12, or how many? So 6 feet means you've gone all the way to 72 inches, which means how many more inches do you have? So 6 feet, 3 inches. Okay, so that's method 1 that I showed you. I've showed you that, I think, first. Method 2. So we ended up with 6.25 feet. What you're going to do is you're going to take off that 6 feet, because I'm good. I know that there's 6 feet. And then I'm going to take the 0.25 feet, figure out how many inches that is. So that was method 2. Just say, okay, the 6 feet, I know. Okay? Let's just see what kind of brains we have out there. How many people's brain said, ooh, I like method 1? How many people's brains were like, nope, I like method 2? Oh, okay, nice. Half and half. That's interesting. I'm a method 1 brain person. Okay, yards to feet, or yards feet I need. So 40 feet equals blank yards. And then the thing I know is 1 yard is 3 feet. So ask yourself always, am I timesing or dividing? So I'm getting 13.33 yards. Okay, I'll do both methods. Again, don't do both methods. Do which one your brain says it makes more sense. So you finish it out and I'll write my methods and then we'll look to see if we're the same. Okay, so again, looking at your method of, did you pick that method or that method? Did we do the same thing? Okay, last conversion. We have 3.5 yards is how many feet? When I know 1 yard is 3 feet. Okay, again, stop, pause. Am I timesing or dividing? So 10.5 feet. And you can be a method 1 or method 2 from here on out. So again, I'm not going to do this with you. I'm going to let you do it on your own so that you can pick your own method. I actually don't know if I can pick method 1. Okay, I don't think I could have done method 1 in this one, unless I had just gone how many inches altogether. I could have done that yet, but. Okay, some of you might have just said, ooh, a half of a foot, boom. I know what a half of a foot is, 6 inches, right? Some of you might have just gone straight to that thinking, which is good. Okay, what's a quarter of a foot? 3 inches. Right? Because there's 12, so a quarter of the way is 3. A third of the way is 4. Okay, volume, surface area. So this. Okay, volume. Length, width, height over 3. Okay, so the length, we have a 9 by a 7 by 15 tall. So that's what you're doing. Okay, so 315, and I am going to take points off if you don't put the right ending to this. Volume is in cubic feet. Okay, for my sake, this is not my favorite test to grade. Can you box your answers for me on some of these? Because there might be a lot of stuff going on your papers with some of these formulas, and then just nicely box your answer. Okay, the surface area. This is the hardest surface area question you can possibly get. This one right here. Okay, so the first thing is, with this triangle, we need the slant here. So can you visualize that interior triangle? It's inside this object. Okay, what's the bottom of this triangle? Would you say that's 4.5 across there, the bottom right there? This is 9, so this is going to be 4.5. So if there's a 4.5, a 15, and a, can you get me that Pythagorean theorem number? To 2 decimal places, please. 15.66, anybody? That was good. I'm getting all sorts of funny faces when you guys look at me here. Okay, I need this front-facing triangle as well. Can you visualize that inside? So this on the bottom would be 3.5. So now I'm doing a triangle that has a 3.5, a 15, and a what? Okay, and again, Pythagorean add. Okay, so here we go. The one triangle in the front back. I'm going to separate these, the front back. So this is 15.4 by 9. 15.4 is the height of that front triangle, and 9 is the bottom of that right triangle. So the formula for a triangle is base times height over 2. That's the formula for a triangle. And then guess what happens? You need to double that because you have a front and a back triangle that are the same. So essentially, in my calculator, guess what I'm doing? I'm just going to type those two things in because those divide and times by 2 are just gone from each other now. So I'm going to get myself a number. So there's part of it. Okay, do you see how nice and organized this is? I like organized math work that's easy to follow. Okay, now what does your triangle look like on this side? So this on the side was 15.66 tall. And the side was 7 on the bottom. So the triangle would be base times height over 2. And I would double it because there's a side, a right side, and a left side. Okay, now I also have the bottom as well, and that's a rectangle, so it's a 9 by 7. All that work, I'm going to add that all up. Are we all matching by the end of all that work? Because there's a lot of work to put into that one.
I'm guessing that you took some numbers out of the calculator and then put them back in.
Yeah, did you keep yours real ones in? Then you're more accurate than me. I did this because I thought that's
Still
what,
very close.
yeah. Because this is what I was assuming most people would just do, so. Okay. You're gonna promise me you're gonna organize it on the test?
Oh, I cannot promise that.
That's gonna look nice and neat.
Well, that is not gonna work.
I can follow it.
Oh.
Okay, volume. Volume's the easy one, so let's do that first. Volume of a cone, 4 pi r cubed over 3. And, did I say a cone? The volume of a sphere, I don't remember what I said. This is the volume of a sphere formula. I'm going to divide it by 2 because it's only a half of that sphere, right? Actually, are you okay if I just fill in this r right now? Let's just do that right away. And then we got the volume of the cone. So pi r squared h over 3. Okay, so just formula, plug in. That's basically all you have to do with volume. So surface area of a sphere. So the sphere is 4 pi r squared. Surface area of a sphere. And I'm going to divide that number by 2 again. Okay, sphere's nice, usually to work with, pretty straightforward. Okay, let's go to our cone. Surface area is pi r squared plus pi r, slant. S is a slant. I don't have that number. Okay, so the letter S in your formula is the slant. And your slant is this diagonal part. So you don't have that number, so you can't do the formula yet. Okay, can you get me the Pythagorean number on that? Five squared plus 12 squared, square root, equals exactly 13. So now I can replace slant in there. Okay, if I do this all, my answer is going to be wrong. Something is not right. Does anybody know, because they put these objects together, what am I not going to be painting? I don't want to paint what? I don't want to paint this circle. I'm not going to be painting that part of the cone. So what should I do to get rid of that? Where part of the formula tells me the circle. What's a circle part of the formula? So that you should not do. Does that make sense? That part is not being painted. Okay, otherwise, again, now it's just calculator precision. Okay, so there's our final answer for it. Okay. So volume, let's do volume first. Volume is the easy one. We don't have to make any adjustments. So the volume of a box, let's do that one first. That one's easy. Volume of a box is all three dimensions, length, width, height. Plus the volume of a cylinder, pi r squared h. Pi r squared h. Hold up, what is r? R, what is r? I'm trying to trick you here. 3. Did you notice that? Would you have just wrote 6 because you saw a 6? Or would you have made sure you're looking? I will most likely, actually I'll say 100% a chance that I'm probably going to put a diameter on your test somewhere to make sure you're looking, okay? Okay, that's it. For volume, you never worry about overlapping because your volume is just your volume. You can't do any overlapping in that. Okay, so with the cylinder, we took off one of the circles so that we didn't paint the bottom of the cylinder. The box we broke down into the sides, the front and back, top, bottom, but then we noticed on the top of the box we would have to take off a circle. Okay, so there's your numbers. Okay, some of you might have done this. If it's going to confuse you, just don't listen to me. Some of you might have noticed there was a circle and then we minus the circle, so essentially we just don't do that. Some of you, if you get that, that's great. Do that, but if you don't, literally think about every single thing I'm painting on the cylinder, not the bottom circle. Then when I did the box, I'm going to have to take off the circle. Okay, calculator stuff. So the volume of a cone, So here's my formula. I'm just going to start with my full formula. Pi r squared h over 3. Okay, so I'm going to fill in 25 to replace the volume. And I'm going to fill in the 4 to replace the height. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. In my calculator, I'm going to type pi times 4 divided by 3. I'm going to type those 3 things in there. I'm going to do pi times 4 divided by 3. So I put those 3 things together and it was a 4.18 in my calculator. Okay, algebra, I'm going to divide by 4.188, divide. But I'm going to use my answer button. I'm going to be typing 25 divided by answer. I'm going to be doing that in my calculator. Okay, and then r squared, to get r alone, I'm going to square root. And again, in my calculator, I'm going to be using the square root of the answer button. How's those backwards calculator people doing with this answer button stuff? Okay, I am going to, if you're okay with it, I'm just going to jump to the last page, make sure I have time. Are you okay with these next two questions? Because we also did this in our last unit as well. Okay, I just want to do some more here. Okay, the area of a rectangle is 10 yards squared. How many square feet is that? Okay, you ready? What do I know with yards and feet? I know 1 yard is 3 feet. Okay, do my stacks match with each other? No, this is feet squared and this is feet, so I'm going to square those. So 1 squared is 1, and 3 squared is 9 square feet. And then I don't want to use that at all now. Okay, does that make sense? I'm done with that. I'm going to use this as my cross multiply. So 10 times 9 is 90 square feet. Okay, we'll go to the bottom one because I'm going to run out of time. One more. So a box, so the volume of a box is length times width times height. Okay, so we figured out the volume in cubic centimeters, but I end up wanting to get it in cubic inches. Okay, what do I know? Formula sheet, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Okay, my stacks don't match with each other. So how am I going to do a match? I'm going to have to cube it. Because, right, it's cubed. So 1 cubed is still 1. And 2.54 cubed. Okay, then I'm going to get that out of there. I'm done using that. Does that make sense? I don't want anything to do with the 2.54 now. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to be doing 240 divided by that. And I'm not sure if you rounded, but I did keep that one on my calculator, so.